What usually happens is that you see a boost in earnings, corporate earnings, and that supports higher share prices. That boost has happened globally and in Australia, but it's very narrow based. If you really want to be anal about it, it's basically resources, and very little else. And you see it, for example, also in Australia, that ahead of the reporting season, we see a number of companies warning their shareholders that they may not necessarily live up to expectations. There's no resources. There's pretty much no resources stocks in there, apart from if you exclude the likes of Perseus Mining. But on the industrial side, on the small financial side, a lot of for obvious reasons. I mean, the economic picture is very mixed still, and that means that a lot of companies are still having problems in meeting market expectations, or even in expectations they've given themselves in the earlier phase. There was a lot of cash on the sidelines prior to the U.S. election. That a lot of that cash has come into the market. I mean, year end was approaching. Benchmarks have to be met. Performance tables were about to be published, so people just wanted to be in there with the right numbers. Now the dynamic is changing. Now it's more a question mark of where are we, what can we expect? Maybe we have gone a little bit too far. And we have to see now in the February reporting season whether a lot of those share price rallies can be justified. One sector I think stands out in terms of uncertainty. Those are the contractors and the engineers working for oil companies and for mining companies, because the market often reasons on very simple metrics. I mean, higher commodity prices means those guys have more money to spend. That means you have to buy the contractors. But I wouldn't be surprised if in February a lot of those companies basically will say this to their shareholders: we haven't seen anything yet, because the doubt that characterizes the rally in 2016 is also still very much apparent in boardrooms in the sector, and that means because there's so much doubt, they're not spending, and that might mean that share prices can remain higher for longer, and maybe also commodity prices more elevated for longer, because the supply response will take longer. But history shows it'll come at some point, and I think that the market skepticism will therefore, at this point in time, prevent those share prices from rallying too high.